President Trump has signed an executive order to begin dismantling the Department of Education.
He says it's a waste of money, but it has left students and loan borrowers with many questions. Heather Sullivan is here with an expert to answer your questions. Good morning, Heather.
Good morning. Yeah, now that President Trump is working to shut down the Department of Education, many student loan borrowers are wondering how this could impact their loans, and other students want to know how it could impact the FAFSA form. So we are joined by Matthew Carpenter. He is founder of College Aid Pro. Thanks so much for being with us, Matthew.
Happy to be here.
So we know already applications for some of the income-driven repayment plans were already frozen, like the SAVE plan, due to a federal court order last month. So what should borrowers do if they wanted to apply for one of these, or maybe they need to recertify their income?
Yeah, I mean, the folks that are already in this plan, it's a big question mark right now. There's actually 4 repayment plans that got paused. They're all very similar, and to your point, they're tied to the amount of income a borrower makes, right? So in short, if you don't have a ton of income, your monthly payments are going to be very manageable. These have been paused, and there's a lot of question marks with all 4 of these repayment plans impacting 8 million borrowers currently. And some of these folks have already seen their payments go up, and without really an explanation. We had one student that had a $95 repayment, and all of a sudden that went up to $350, and his first bill was due about a week from getting that notice, and he can't get in touch with anybody. So these folks that are currently enrolled with the plan, they need to talk to their servicers, because they're not going to be able to get anybody at the Department of Education. And if we're a future borrower, we're going to pause before we even think about borrowing through the federal government this year, because they've explicitly said, we want to get out of this game.
Yeah, that is a very important point. I'm glad you made that. Let's talk about other options for people that, we're hearing that so many people are falling behind on their student loans. What about if they need forbearance or deferrals?
Well, forbearance for the most part has gone into place automatically, or at least this pause where, hey, we're not, your interest is not accruing. We're not expecting you to make payments. The challenge with forbearance right now is just actually getting that serviced. Most borrowers are telling us, and this is, across the board with a decent sample size, that they don't even have the option to get this paperwork through, right, electronically or otherwise. As a matter of fact, some of these servicers are saying, hey, send us hard copies via snail mail. That's probably your best odds right now, because they can't even get into the system. Essentially, it's been blocked for everybody. So for a lot of these borrowers, it's just kind of sit and wait and hope for the best, but not much they can do outside of, crossing their fingers at this point.
And we know that it can be, difficult sometimes to even reach loan servicers. So any advice if they're having that issue?
I mean, look, it's persistence, right? I mean, the folks that have got through, they've been the ones that are like, hey, I'm going to just stay on hold for hours if that's what it takes, and kind of go about the rest of my day as best I can. There's not really a magic solution here. One little hack that we've shared is that, hey, if you're trying to get the Department of Education and you just hit 0 continuously, that has had, some proof of concept in terms of getting through. But again, they're so short-staffed right now that you just have to have this mindset that nobody's coming to the rescue immediately.
Yeah, wow. It sounds so difficult for so many people. Let's talk about the FAFSA, because, people are planning to fill this out to apply for their financial aid. Is that form going to still be available?
It should be. We don't have any reason to believe that it's going to go away, right? That's not going to happen again. Famous last words here. I'm concerned because within hours of these layoffs, of 50% of the Department of Education being laid off, a lot of those being tech folks that support the FAFSA form, it went down. It went down for most of the day. Nobody could submit the form. Nobody could make corrections. Nobody could add a school. So it caused a lot of that panic that we saw a couple of years ago with the new release. So we're just educating our audience to say, anticipate a bumpy ride here, anticipate some hiccups. The form's still going to be there. The kind of bread and butter of the federal government, Pell Grants, federal direct student loans, plus loans, we have every reason to believe they're going to be here at least this year for the class 2025 in college students. But again, we anticipate some more significant changes in subsequent years. But the FAFSA form will be there, but it's going to be a pain to deal with.
Okay, well, this has been some really important insight. Thank you so much for sharing this information with us. Matthew Carpenter, founder of College Aid Pro. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.